Hello and welcome to part 2 of me making tear skirts. If you want to see part 1, click the card in the top right hand corner. But basically what happened was I reorganized all my cotton prints so that they were not in color order but in size order. So the 3-yard cuts, the 2-yard cuts, the 1-yard cuts are all in groups. I should probably also put them in color order. But anyway, once I'd done that, then I had these half-meter cuts from the UK. I got these, there's all these gorgeous cotton lawns, and yeah, I just bought a half-meter sample of like 13 of them. And yeah, I didn't really have a spot for them anymore, so I decided I was going to make tear skirts out of them. And in the first video I cut out these bits, all the blue ones. There's yeah, all the blue ones, and I sort of just cut them and sewed them into strips. And then with the rest, I decided I'd make a massive 4-tier skirt out of that. But once I sewed the 4 tiers together, it was really, really long enough to be like just put a little tiny little bikini top on it, and it would have been a really cute maxi dress. But I decided against that because what I really need are just some everyday skirts that I can wear all the time, rather than a maxi dress that I can wear like a couple of times each summer and that's it. So since the end of part 1, I have carefully pulled apart the multicolored skirt, and I took the last tier off. I also made the blue skirt up into a skirt. It was just in parts before, so that's looking good. Obviously I have to do the waistbands for those two, and I also have to make up all these spare parts into a third skirt. So I had 13 bits of lengths of fabric, and I cut each of them into half, and so I ended up with 26 bits. So with the 5 blue lengths and this last 6th one, I used the 5 to cut in half as 2 bits for the top tier, 3 for the second tier, and 5 for the bottom tier. And then instead of just cutting the last colourful blue bit into half, I cut it into 8ths and made a really long strip and turned it into a ruffle. So that's what I did with the last one. And then with all the rest, pinks and greens, that one has 1.5 panels on the top tier, 2.5 on the second tier, 4 on the third tier, and these ones here were the 4th tier, and there were 6 panels in that. But yeah, it was just too long because the nice people at Fabric Works gave me quite a bit extra on each, like about an inch extra on each piece of fabric that I bought, just of these particular colors. So yeah, it ended up being quite a bit longer. So I've taken off that last tier, and because it's 6 whole bits, I can make a whole new skirt out of it. It's not going to be quite as long as the other ones, but it's still another skirt that I can wear every day. So I'll rearrange and I'll show you what I'm doing with them. So I took that last layer off, and with those off the pink and mixed skirt, and with those 6, what I did was I cut them up so that I could make a 4-tiered skirt, well, 3 in a ruffle tiered skirt. So this one has 1.5 in the top, and then I kept the other half and I used it again. So the top layer has 1.5. The second mustard layer has 2 full panels, Then the third sort of ruffly layer, thin ruffly layer, is the remaining half of the thistle one, the brown thistle one. And what I did is just cut that half into 6 bits, so it's the same length as what 3 normal panels would be, full length panels. So yeah, it's just going to lengthen the skirt a little bit and add a bit more visual interest. And then for the bottom of the skirt, I cut these into half again, the purple ones, so that I would have 4 full panels lengthwise, and that's going to be the 4th tier. So it is going to be a little bit shorter, but it's still going to be a multi-tier skirt, which is, I just wanted some everyday skirts that I can sort of wear interchangeably. And yeah, so now I'm going to, as you can see, I've pinned them all and cut them all to the correct length. So now I just have to sew them all up so that they're big loops. And once that's done, and hand hem the seams. And then once that's done, I'll sew them all together and we'll end up with 3 skirts. And once I've done that, then we will put the waistbands on all 3. So let's get this one sewn up. So I have hand finished all the seams and pressed each of the layers. So now I have to pin them together. So far I have machine sewn, pinned, then machine sewn the top 3 tiers, and this one really is quite small, so I was tempted to just make it a ruffle and sort of sew like pin all 3, so like just pin this one under, so it's basically this, then the mustard one, but with a ruffle in between. But I know what it'll look like, the brown one would look like if it was just a ruffle. So I think what I'll do is pin the purple and pink peacock to the bottom of the thistle, because I don't really know what it's going to look like if it's just a thin tier. I think it's worth doing this as an experiment because, well, I can always just pull it apart and change it, but also I already have those 2 skirts that I'm quite happy with. So yeah, I think I will sew the purple and pink peacock feathers onto the bottom of this, so it won't be a ruffle, it'll actually just be a very thin tier, that brown thistly one. Okay, and I'm very proud of the fact I got my thistly ones up the right way all along. So yeah, and on the top tier as well. Gold star for me. Okay, so now I will pin these last 2 layers together and sew them. So I finished the shorter skirt. Well, not finished, but I've sewn all the tiers together. This super thin tier looks okay, but I think if I do it again, I'll make it either the same length as the mustard one above or the purple one below. Having it a different length is just a little awkward. I'll leave it, but now yeah. It is time to hem them and to put the waistbands on. So I have finally finished all the hems for all 3 skirts. What I did was pressed 1/2 inch all the way around, and then I tucked under the raw seam, the raw edge, and then I hand sewed it all around. And it took forever because the skirts are also white at the bottom, but it looks adorable. I particularly like this. I wasn't sure about using this, oops, can you see it? This particular purple, but it looks really good from the outside. So yeah, all the hems are done, and they're just baby hems because I didn't want to turn up too much. And my cotton prints are slightly more color coordinated than they were, but they're still in length order. So it'll be easy to find. If I want to make up a dress pattern that requires 3 yards of fabric, I can either use a 3-yard bit or use 2 yards and 1 yard contrasting. So it'll be much easier to find what I need now that they're in length order and slightly in color order. And now it is time to do the waistbands for all 3 skirts. So I ironed, again, I just ironed about a 1/4 of an inch underneath, and then I turned a section big enough, about an inch, just over an inch, to so it'll be wide enough to machine sew it and still fit the elastic for the waistband. I got 2 different types because I wasn't sure which one would work better. So I've got 3 skirts, so I'll use 1 in each, and then whichever feels better, I'll use that for the 3rd one. And yeah, so now that I've pressed this and pinned it all along, what I just have to do is machine sew it, but I've got these 2 pins here, and I'm going to leave this bit unsewn. So once I've mostly machine sewed it, then I will thread the elastic through, and then I'll once that's sewn together each end, then I will hand sew this down and it'll be finished. Okay, so I machine sewed the waistband gap thing, and then I pulled the elastic through, and that took forever because the first time I did it, I used a safety pin and it came undone. My safety pin came undone, so I had to do it again without using a safety pin. Anyways, now it's done and I've pinned the elastic together. So now I just have to sew those ends together, and then yeah, one will be done and the other 2 to go. Okay, the first one is done and I have the other 2 to go. It's looking adorable. I thought maybe it was a bit short and that I should add another sort of layer tier at the bottom, but no, I kind of like it. I think I'll at least wear it a few times and then see if I like it or if I need to add another section to it. So now it is time to finish the blue skirt and the pink and green one. 2 done. I just have the pink and green one to go. There we go. All 3 of them are finished. Put them with jackets, but I actually really like the blue Chanel with the bohemian skirt. I didn't think I would, but I'm not sure about the other ones. I guess I'll get used to it, and of course there'll be a handbag. I should put the bag on it. Okay, that one looks awesome with the Valentino handbag. I'm totally going to wear it that way. So thank you for watching and coming along on my rather chaotic ride of making these 3 skirts with the multi-tiers. There was a lot of hand sewing in this, a lot. I really love this blue one, so much more than I thought I would. And yeah, I have some other Sally Kelly and florals in the navy, so yeah, there may be more skirts in my future. I have a little bit of elastic left, enough for a few more skirts, so yeah, maybe. But anyway, thank you for watching, and go forth and make your own fabulous skirts, because they're awesome. And I'll see you again soon when I resume normal programming and make yet another Chanel style tweed jacket.